Hey folks, the BMD here on my show, Meet the Band. If you or your group would like to be a guest on the show, email us at thebmdpodcast@gmail.com. See you then. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the BMD, on our Rogers Television Network show, Meet the Band, where our guest beside me, hopefully he'll catch a break with me, the BMD, and get noticed, get spotlighted. If anything else, we're going to find out who he is. Everybody say hello to our guest today, Jay Feelbender. How are you, sir? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, somewhere in the world. Yeah. Tell us, what do you say? What do you know?
Well, I don't know too much, I'll say that, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be talking to you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Good. And I want to get in before background, kind of an unusual stage name, I'm thinking, Jay Feelbender. Can you tell our audience where that came from? You don't have to say your real name if you want, but we want to explore that that name, your stage name, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my real name is not a secret. It's Jacob Switzer. I'm happy to say that information. But Jay Feelbender really was a transformation from my old solo project, which was called Headspace. And it always was kind of just my off the top of the head music that I wanted to create. Which is why I called it Headspace. But it was so hard to find, especially on the internet nowadays. Headspace has the meditation app. There's other bands called Headspace. So for the search engine, it was just hard to find. And I also want to start a new chapter in my music in the last 2 years. So I decided for a name change. In my last album, my last solo album as Headspace, I had 2 songs called Karaoke Fieldbender and Casey Fieldbender. So it was just kind of a word play I came up with. When you go on a bender, it's often thought of as, you know, going out partying for a weekend or whatever it is. And rather than having it be like that kind of bender, I wanted it to be a bender of feelings, of change, of that kind of thing. So
good start to the interview, sir. Now let's get into your background. Where do you come from? What's your culture? A little bit of history and background about perhaps you and your family. Go ahead.
My grandparents came here from Slovakia. Many years ago when my mom was about 3 years old. And so she came here, started acting in Toronto. My dad was basically from Guelph, came to Toronto and was in the music world. So they ended up meeting through kind of film, music video connections. And then from there, obviously, eventually I was born and those 2 things became my passions, film and music. So it's kind of just been passed down through my parents.
So influences to get you going came from mom and dad. Tell us a little bit about, growing up. Were you listening to different music or, did you have a guitar in your hand on your first birthday or what?
Well, my dad was making me kind of mix CDs for my birthday since I was probably 5 years old called Jacob's Tunes. And those were definitely some inspirations for me. A lot of it was kind of like, I guess classic rock, you'd say, but it was all across the board, really. So that was definitely inspirational there and some influences. And then I was going to folk festivals with my dad when he was playing music growing up as well. And that was really amazing to kind of see that side of the music world, the performing aspect, and being out traveling with my parents was awesome. And
so
then,
what made you think you wanted to do it for a career more than just, say, recreation and a hobby?
It actually took some time. I was taking music lessons as a kid, and it wasn't really for me. Like I didn't love the whole having to go home and practice thing. And then it wasn't until I got into high school and started kind of jamming with my friends and the kind of fun side of being in a band and getting together and recording in one of our friends' basements and that kind of stuff really made me feel like, oh, this is really fun. And then from there, songwriting just became like essential to me. It just was something that I had to do. And I knew as soon as I started writing my own songs that was just kind of going to be a huge part of my life. So influences for the songwriting. Can you tell us, this is a big part of the interview, lots of the interview and audience request
how the songwriting is developed. And it's probably one of my personal favorites. Where do you get your ideas? Tell us about maybe your structure or the verses. Is it start with a thought? Is it a dreamscape? Go ahead.
I actually, I was talking about this yesterday. It really does differ per song for me, the process. Sometimes I'll be out just kind of walking around or whatever I'm doing, and I'll write stuff on my phone, write notes down. So it starts with lyrics, and it'll be about what's happening in my life. And then when I get home, I'll kind of put it to music. Sometimes I'll just be at home and be like, I want to start recording. So I'll start just playing, put a loop down and play some music over that. And then eventually have to think of lyrics to go with the music. Sometimes I'll be with a band and we'll all be playing together, and it's kind of just more free form improv kind of thing. So it really does depend. Typically, I would say I write a bunch of lyrics down. I'm at home. I try to put those lyrics to music, and record myself and kind of demo through it.
You're listening to Meet the Band with me, the BMD. I'm coming to you with a music video showcase. Stay tuned.
Walking, kicking leaves, kicking rocks, no point stopping, sipping sweet on the rocks, alone in the city, what a feeling, walking till I'm losing all my feelings, this might be my only way of dealing, walking till I'm losing all my feelings, there's no one else around, think I'm feeling free, there's no one in the city standing next to me, music on, rocks on, rocks on, one way, feeling lost. Does anything mean anything at all? I keep walking, kicking leaves, kicking rocks, no point stopping, sipping sweet on the rocks, alone in the city, what a feeling, walking till I'm losing all my feelings, this might be my only way of dealing, walking till I'm losing all my feelings, there's no one else around, think I'm feeling free. There's no one in the city standing next to me. Music on, rocks on, feeling one way, feeling lost. Does anything mean anything at all? This life's totally busted, and I don't wanna waste my time any more than I did. And time, it keeps on moving, and I don't wanna waste your life any more than I have.
You're listening to Meet the Band with me, the BMD. I'm coming to you with a music video showcase. Stay tuned. So what about when you started your first band? Were you the ringleader, or you were asked to join, or can you talk to us about how that developed? Was it a bunch of guys sitting in a rec room, on a Friday night saying, hey, let's put something together? The viewers are always interested on the creative side. Please talk about how the first band was created.
Yeah, it was, me and a few friends kind of just sitting in a basement. And I, at that point, didn't really feel confident enough to be playing any instruments. So I was just a singer. I did write the lyrics with kind of everyone. And it was just kind of this like everyone bring in ideas and we kind of jam through songs, and I'll sing over them and write down the lyrics as we go. And it was very kind of experimental, I guess you could say at that point. It was kind of all of us finding our footing in the musical world. But yeah, I was just singing at that point, and I stuck to that and was kind of the front man, just singer and then eventually brought in my other friend who I still am in a band with named Fox, and we kind of sang together. But that was the first band. And then that really gave me the confidence to start kind of creating my own stuff independently and also playing instruments while singing live.
So as a front man, using your words, how would you rate yourself? Are you David Lee Roth style, Ian Ashbury on the Cult, or tell us what front man you are?
Especially at that point, I guess being like a rambunctious teenager, I was pretty, I think I was pretty good. I was definitely like running around the stage. I definitely had some like theatrics, I wasn't doing backflips or anything, but I just was like definitely into the music. And I haven't been able to do it since then. Like, not that I can't, but I just haven't been in a band where I was kind of the front man, just lead singer. But it was definitely a lot of fun. And I do want to try doing that again at some point. Even if just in my set, I kind of put the guitar down for a bit and just sing the songs. It's definitely super fun. And I think I was pretty good at it.
So who were your styles? When you were singing, you must have thought, I want to look, sing, and behave like this guy or this person. What, give us some names, drop some names that were in your head.
I definitely was looking at Julian Casablancas a little bit from the Strokes. He's not very, I guess you'd say energetic. He kind of has the cool leaning on the mic kind of thing. But I definitely wanted to look cool. That was definitely part of it. But I was definitely a little bit more like kind of swaying around. Also, I think his name is Matt Schultz from Cage the Elephant as well. And I'm sure they would have influences, but that was sort of my modern rock influences at that point.
Now, you mentioned you started as being just we'll use the word frontman singer. When did you blend in the guitar, or tell us that creativity or did your dad introduce you to the guitar, or what happened?
Well, I had been taking lessons and kind of dabbling in it for a long period of my life. But I just didn't feel confident to like sing and play. And at that point was just a little nervous about that. I did actually, when we first started that band, play bass and kind of sing, but I just felt like I want to be more free and just stick to singing. But I was at home just writing my own songs on guitar at that point as well. So it was kind of once I had felt performing live and writing songs with people and writing lyrics and getting some sort of response from that was positive, that I kind of felt like I could bring the songs I'd been writing by myself at home to the forefront and kind of show people those songs as well. And that's when the next band that I was in, called Goodbye Honolulu, that is still active today, kind of started. And it was me and 3 other songwriters, and we all kind of brought songs forward and sang them and sang together and played together.
So are you still with that band you just mentioned now?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough as a band for the last 2 years during the pandemic because it was hard to get together at a certain point, and then also play any shows obviously was not happening. So we released an album during the pandemic, which was, all of us agree, is our best body of work for sure, that we're super proud of, but we haven't really been able to get together and kind of bring back the like live aspect. We had one show when there was kind of a brief low of the cases last October, but now that it's the summer and things are obviously settling down, I think we're hoping to start figuring some stuff out again. So
tell us about that name. Where did that come from? It's a little bit odd.
Goodbye Honolulu. Yeah. Fox, the band member I was talking about before, who's been in my band since the beginning, basically just thought of it one day. He claims that he wanted to start another band with me from that first band, and was like, oh, if I think of a cool enough name, then like Jacob will just say, let's do this. I probably would have said yes no matter what, but he came and was like, what if we start a band called Goodbye Honolulu? And then we kind of thought of like a little theme song for it that just was like, had the name in it. So there's no real story behind it besides that. And then eventually we were like, what can this name mean? And we kind of thought of just the idea of like saying goodbye to paradise, letting go of something beautiful. And that was kind of the idea that formed later about the name.
When I heard the name, I thought you had scooped it off a script on a big Hollywood movie.
Yeah, it does have that ring to it.
Moving along here, folks, you're listening to Meet the Band. I'm the BMD, and we are with Jay Feelbender on our show, Meet the Band, on Rogers Television Network. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying the show. Now, you've toured a lot, and talk to us about touring, what it's like playing live in front of one person or a million people.
Yeah, we've definitely done both. Maybe not a million, but lots of people, and definitely one person is probably well. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with touring because it can be very exhausting, and sometimes the shows don't have the payoff that you want them to. But at the same time, it also comes with some of the most exciting times I've had in my life. So it's a bit of a give and take. Longer tours, like we went on about a month and a half tour with a band called Heinz from Spain, who became some of our close friends. And it was really, really amazing. But a month and a half on the road in the States at that point with kind of the crew we were with, which was basically just us four guys in the band, was pretty tough, to say the least, and also a lot of money. But we loved it. It was life-changing. We grew a lot as a band on the road. And we learned a lot as well. But I would say we probably, if you want to hear a story.
I do. You're listening to Meet the Band with me, the BMD. I'm coming to you with a music video showcase. Stay tuned.
Blacked out when you were looking at me. I'll be your punching bag, put my blood on the concrete. Drinking coffee just to keep us alive. Drinking whiskey to bring us closer to dying, you said. Every vice is a way, is a means of being human. But you hide your beauty, teeth white and you're so nice that it kills me inside. Dirty loving, I'll be waiting for all time. Trash bag, toss me out on the side streets. Fall in love with everyone that I meet. Drinking beers just to get through the heat. If you hated me, I'd understand. But you hide your beauty, teeth white and you're so nice that it kills me inside. Dirty loving, I'll be waiting for all time. Dirty loving, and I'll be waiting for our time. Dirty loving, and I'll be waiting for all time.
You're back on Meet the Band with the BMD.
All right, I'll tell you two, one good one bad one. The first one's just kind of a wholesome story about our first show on the road with Hines, the band we were touring with, and we were playing the Bowery Ballroom in New York, which is a beautiful venue, probably 1,000 people, sold out. Obviously, we were very nervous, this being our first tour, so we were up in the green room, could hardly eat. My bandmate Emmett, pretty sure he threw up just from nerves. So it was exciting. We were terrified, but we played the show, and it just was like a very beautiful and euphoric moment to play that and feel like we are kind of taking a step in a new direction as a band. There was kind of a funny moment that happened where in the bridge of the song, Emmett, all the music stops and Emmett kind of just strums the guitar and sings this bridge, just kind of him, and it's his kind of moment. And instead of hitting the pedal that he wanted to hit, the guitar pedal, he hit the tuner pedal, and his guitar just completely cut out. So it was just him singing a cappella in this part that he did not mean to sing a cappella in. So we still sometimes reflect on that moment and laugh about it.
So that was a crazy moment. He must have felt a little bit foolish. How did he get out of that?
I think he waited till the next kind of like 4-bar sequence and then just quietly hit his tuner pedal and started strumming the guitar there. And just kind of hope that no one noticed. I mean, when no one knows the songs, then no one knows what to expect. It's worse when you kind of mess up at one of your shows where people might know the recorded version and know that that's not what should be happening. But I think we got away with it that time.
So you mentioned a bad story. Again, hopefully PG.
Yeah. It was more just like probably a low point of our shows. And it was a Montreal show where we played. It was a venue we really liked, and we really usually love playing Montreal, but just this one off night, it must have been a weekday and some in the winter or something, I can't remember, but there was maybe 10 people there. People were a bit kind of in a weird mood. One guy was telling us to like get off the stage, kind of heckling us in terms of the way he wanted us to like stop speaking between songs and just play the music and get out of here. So we kind of just were playing, and, we put on as best show as we could given the circumstances. And, it costs a bit of money to get to Montreal from Toronto. It's about a 6-hour drive, the gas money, staying overnight, all that stuff. So we knew we weren't going to make a bunch of money from this show, but we we're hoping to get something. At the end of the night, the guy who runs the bar was like, yeah, guys, unfortunately, not a lot of door sales tonight. So either I can pay you guys, like, I think it was literally maybe $8 or something.
Wow.
Or each of you gets one shot of whiskey. So we decided to just each take a shot of whiskey and take the loss and hit the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
Not the best show.
I hope you didn't play that bar again.
I think it closed down, actually.
So it might have been outside elements pressuring the situation, not you. Listen, any regrets?
Just as a band or as a musician?
Both.
There was when we played South by Southwest for the first time, we decided to play a bunch of shows on the way down to kind of make it more worthwhile to drive there. And it didn't make it more worthwhile. It ended up just adding a lot of stress to our drive and playing a lot of shows that were not good. So I think one regret might have been doing that. When we were planning to go back again recently, we decided that we'd maybe play like 3 shows on the way down, but it's just not worth to hit like every city for no reason. So that was just something we learned. But besides that, no real big regrets.
Do you believe practice makes perfect?
Yeah, for sure. As a band, we often kind of quoted the story that the Beatles, before they ever kind of blew up, were just playing every single night in these bars and really honing their craft. And, obviously you can hear that and see that. And for us, that was something that we kind of took into deep consideration, because we started just gigging as much as possible at an early age. And I think that definitely helped us for our live performance, for sure, and stage performance. And then as well as just, songwriting and playing and honing your instrument, obviously practicing is going to be super, super important.
How tough is the music industry?
I would say really tough, very, very tough, especially right now. It's very hard to navigate the online music release, playlisting, streaming world. There's no real right way anymore. You don't really just print a vinyl or print it, get CDs and sell them on the street. I mean, you can, but it's just this whole streaming world is very hard to navigate, and it's very new, so it's still changing a lot. And every day there's new resources to use, which can be beneficial, but also very intimidating and overwhelming for people. So it's definitely tough on our end. And then the actual music industry side is just so, I guess, toxic, I would say.
So we're almost out of time. How can people connect with you or your band? Please tell us your social media IDs.
I am at Jay Feelbender everywhere, which is JayFeelbender, Jay Feelbender. That's on Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud, Twitter. I have a website. So Jay Feelbender all across the board. And then Goodbye Honolulu is the band I'm in. Same thing. Got a website. It's Instagram, all the social media, Spotify, all the streaming platforms as well.
Well, sir, we are out of time. Certainly enjoyed the interview. Folks, you've been listening to me, the BMD, with my guest, Jay Feelbender, on our Rogers television show, Meet the Band. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're going to watch it. And Jay put up his social media ideas to connect later on if you'd like. And you know what we tell everybody, Jay? If you've been happy on what you've heard, seen, or listened to, tell a friend. See you next time. Hey folks, the BMD here on my show, Meet the Band. If you or your group would like to be a guest on the show, email us at thebmdpodcast@gmail.com. See you then.